The Spirit of Christ is a missionary spirit.
If you are next to my Bible, please can I have it as you are singing Matthew 24? Oh, thanks. Yeah, let's sing Matthew 24. Then we'll start after the song.
Into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Then verse 11 says, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and there is no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandment of God and the faith of Jesus. Amen. So we're just going to look on the
first very part of third angel's message, which we are being told that there is what? There is what? There is a beast that we are warned against, so that we should not worship him, isn't it? Or we should not worship it the way you may call it now. So today we are just going to look on it, but today and tomorrow we'll be covering the entire topic, the mark of the beast and his image. But today will be looking only on the part of the what? The beast. Then tomorrow it will be his mark and his image, so that we may understand, because it won't be reasonable if we can talk about the beast, the mark of the beast and the image of the beast, whereas we don't know who the beast is, isn't it? But it's easier if you know who the beast is, so that now you can go to the beast and say, hey, beast, according to the Bible, you are the beast. Then what is your mark? Then the beast will tell you that this is my mark. But many times, people run to interpret wrong things because we run to check on the mark of the beast, we check on the image of the beast, we check on the name of the beast and his number, isn't it? And we get wrong answers because we are not understanding who the beast is. That's why today people will misinterpret 666. They say it's number of Mandela, it's the number of who? Illuminati. And people are just saying things. Why? Because they did not go and ask the Bible who the beast is. Then they have their own beast in mind, and they will just have to take 666 and attach to such. Some, they say Ellen White is the beast because they're saying 666 is the number for Ellen White. Have you ever said that? If you haven't, you will meet it one day where people are associating Ellen White with 666. Why? Because people are not understanding and they are not studying first who the beast is. Then if you know who the beast is, it will be easier to just go straight to the beast and say, according to the Bible, without any doubt, you are who? The beast. Then what is your mark? What is your number? What is your name? What is your image? Then it will be easier to understand all those things altogether. And it's we know the principles that God gives us in the book of Deuteronomy on the issue of false accusation. We are aware of that. God talks about false accusation. If I come to someone and say, you're a thief, without me having evidence that you're a thief, I'm accusing you wrongly, isn't it? And to God, that is wrong, right? And how many of us are just going around telling people that the beast is the papacy, but we can't prove it? That's false accusation. Whether it's true or not, we are not sure because you can't prove it. Do you understand? So we have to first understand the principle behind to say we cannot just go around saying the papacy is the beast. Someone might say, prove it to me. That is the beast, and you find out that you can't. So that will be what? A false accusation. Then let's look at this principle from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 19, verse 15 and to 19. It says that one witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin, in any sin that he sinneth, at the mouth of 2 witnesses or at the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be what? Be established. So for a matter to be established according to the God's principle, a witness is needed, isn't it? If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priest and the judge, which shall be in those days. Then what will happen? And the judges shall make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witness be a false witness, and hath testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you. So this is the principle that God is laying on the issue of accusing people falsely, or when you are not having enough evidence to say whatsoever that you wish that that it should be done to that particular person. If you are found that you are accusing falsely, it's going to be done to you. So it's so important to say, before we can run about and say, this person has done wrong, we need to have what? Evidence. There should be witness, isn't it? So that things may be clear. Though we know that it is true that the papacy is the beast, and are we together? But it's not for one to say it if they can't prove it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Though you can say the papacy is the beast, it's not within your power to say it if you can't prove it. That's why it's so important that we need to study first and understand what we are saying, isn't it? Then this is the question already. I already given you the answer, isn't it? Because no matter how the study can be, there are things that cannot change. If they change, it means the study is in error, isn't it? Who is the beast? This is the question that I posed there. And this is the same question that the whole study is just going to answer that. So that when we talk now about the beast, we'll be understanding who the beast is. Are we together? Are we together? Okay. Many believe, even in the Adventists, that the beast is Satan. I don't know if you ever heard that. You ask fellow brethren, who is the beast? Especially when you are reading in the book of Revelation, and you just read Revelation 13 and say, who is this beast? Or the Revelation 14. They just say, this is the devil. Then the third part is that even when you go outside, when you're doing studies, you ask people outside, who is the beast? With them, I can say it's reasonable, because they don't know anything about the beast. But with us, many of us, we think the beast is who? It's the devil, isn't it? And it's not the devil. Okay. So now we want to identify who this beast is. But before we identify him, we are going to take some principles from the book of Daniel, because we know that for us to unlock this beast in the book of Revelation chapter 14, verse 9, we will need the book of Daniel so that we can understand who this beast is. Are we together? So in the book of Daniel chapter 1, the verse is 1, this is what we are told. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. So here we are told about two kings. Are we seeing that? The first king is who? Jehoiakim, who is the king of Judah. We're not going to talk about him. But the one I want you to put focus on is the second king, which is who? Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. So that is clear. Who was the king of Babylon? Tabo, who was the king of Babylon? Nebuchadnezzar. So Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon, according to Daniel chapter 1, verse 1. So I want us to go with this so that we may understand it clearly. Let me go to chapter 2, verse 1. That one was chapter 1, verse 1. Chapter 2, verse 1 says that now about the same king, and in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. So we are told that this is chapter 2 now. Chapter 1, we just know that Nebuchadnezzar is who? Who is Nebuchadnezzar? King of Babylon. Then when you come to chapter 2, we are told about Nebuchadnezzar, who is the king of Babylon. That he had what? A dream. And we know the dream, isn't it? Are we sure? Are we sure? Wait, thank you. You don't know the dream? Okay. But do you know the dream? It's about what? It's about the stage, ne? Okay. So Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. The dream was about what? The statue, ne? How was the statue? How was the head of the statue? Momo? How was the head of the statue? It was gold, ne? Then what about the hands and the chest? The hands and the chest of the statue? Silver, right? And the belly and the thighs? Charity, how was the feet, the legs? Iron, ne? And how was the toes? Iron mixed with clay, isn't it? Okay. What was happening behind the statue, Shilvelo? Behind the statue, what was happening? Or what happened behind it? What is it that was taking place, or which was there behind the statue? Okay, now do you understand the statue? We are still on the dream, don't worry. Do you understand the statue? Okay, behind the statue, what is it that it was there? Huh? No, okay. Okay. Don't mind them, ne? Don't mind them. They're not laughing at you because you're stupid. They are laughing at you because they are just happy. So they are happy with you, ne? What was happening behind the statue, Simpiwa? What is it that was there behind the statue? Hmm? I can't remember. Okay. Do you know what was behind the statue? Focus, you don't know. Okay, maybe I'm not asking the question in a right way, right? Is my question clear? It's not clear. Okay. But what was behind the statue? What was behind the statue? Yes. Okay, what happened to the statue? What was behind the statue? So, what was behind the statue? So, why are you saying my question is not clear? Huh? Okay, the stone was behind it, right? And what happened to the stone? What happened to the stone, Kibuko? Okay, so we understand Daniel 2, right? Okay, and you are familiar with this picture, isn't it? Huh? And the interpretation of everything in your t-shirt, right? So, but you're failing to say it. Hmm? I believe you're laughing at yourself because of shame, right? You say, how can I fail to say things which are on my t-shirt? So this is what happened in chapter 2, isn't it? But now, after that, when the king was troubled by the dream, we know what happened. He called the magicians and all those people who were regarded as the wise men of Babylon, right? To come and tell the king what the dream and his interpretation, because the king also forgotten about the dream. Then he says that if you can't tell me, you're going to be what? To be killed, isn't it? That's what we find with the thing. And they failed. And they even acknowledge that this cannot be done by a mere man, but except God who does not dwell with men. Do you remember? For those who know, isn't it? Then from there, that's when now the king issued the decree that these people should be killed. And everyone who was regarded as a wise man of Babylon was supposed to be killed. And among those people who were about to be killed, Daniel was there together with his fellow friends. They were together. And because of that, because Daniel was supposed to be killed, what did he do? He asked for a time to talk with God, right? And the time was granted to him. Then now when God revealed the dream to him, together with the interpretation, he had to come back to the king and give the king what? The dream and the interpretation. Now, we're not going to read Daniel 2. You have to read that one. Is for your own thing. If you love the truth, you have to read it. Then in Daniel 2 verse 29, this is what Daniel is saying. He says that, as for thee, O king, thy thought came unto thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. So Daniel is, apart from telling the king the dream and the interpretation, he even told him what the king was thinking about before he sleep. To say, when you are on your bed before you sleep, you had a thought. You wanted to know the future of your kingdom. You wanted to know what will happen in the future in this kingdom of what? Of Babylon, isn't it? Then as you wanted to know, now God comes and reveals it to you, the secret of what will happen hereafter you get out together. And when now the interpretation comes, we know that the dream was about what? What is it that the dream was talking about, Samuel? The dream of Daniel chapter 2 of King Nebuchadnezzar. What is it? What is the dream talking about? The kingdoms, the earthly kingdoms. So it's clear that because based on what God revealed to Nebuchadnezzar and the statement that Daniel is saying, it's clear that what is it that the king was thinking about? He wanted to know that how is his kingdom going to last in the future, isn't it? Then God comes and answers directly and straight to what he wanted. Altogether. Okay. And now this is just the marking of the first kingdom. So Daniel, when he's continuing to explain, he comes to verse 38 and verse 39 of Daniel chapter 2. And this is what he had to say. He said that, wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand. So he's showing the king, say, oh, God has given you these people so that you can rule over them. He has given you the beast, he has given you the fowls so that you can do what? You can rule over them. Then he comes and say, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Then when he continues, he says, thou art this head of gold. So in the statue, Daniel is talking to the king. He says to the king, you king, you are this head of gold. So primarily, based on this statement on the surface, one will say the head of gold represents Nebuchadnezzar, because you are told that you, Nebuchadnezzar, you are this head of gold altogether. Then, but when you look at the preceding verse, now we understand fully the meaning of that statement. Thou art this head of gold. Let's begin. And after thee shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee. So after thee, who is he, me on the statue? After you, who is the head of gold? What is coming? Another kingdom. So if what is coming after is a kingdom, it means the head of gold should represent what? The kingdom. Because it can't just be near Nebuchadnezzar, and after Nebuchadnezzar come a kingdom. And after him, because when it continues, and another third kingdom of what? Of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. So you can see with the statue is talking about the earthly kingdom, or the kingdoms. But the head of gold is which kingdom? Babylon. It's clear. Daniel explained it in chapter 2. That you are this head of gold. And who was Nebuchadnezzar? King of Babylon. So that is easy to get. So the head of gold represents the kingdom of Babylon. And who was the king? Nebuchadnezzar. All together. Okay, let's go now to the second kingdom, because we are told that after him there is a second kingdom which is coming, and the third kingdom of brass is coming. Which means even the fourth of iron, we are sure that is coming. And even the stone will show that the kingdom of a stone should come altogether. Okay. Now let's look at the second kingdom. What is this second kingdom? Then when you go to Daniel chapter 5, remember, we are in the kingdom of what? Babylon. We want to identify the second kingdom. Daniel chapter 5 verse 1 and 2, it says that Belshazzar, the king, made great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. So we are told that we have this man who is called who now? Belshazzar. And what is it that Belshazzar did? Made a feast altogether. Okay. Then let's read the verse 2. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines might drink therein. So we are told that this man, when he made the feast, he commanded people to bring what? The vessels which his father has taken from Jerusalem. His father who? Nebuchadnezzar. And I remember when I was doing a Bible study with one of the brethren, and I just mentioned this verse to someone who is not an Adventist. Then I said, you see, because we need to identify who is the beast, like the same study I'm doing now. Then that man, when we were out, he waited for church members to come in the meeting. Then he wanted to embarrass me. He said, hey, you remember that day we were doing the study? Then I said, yeah, I remember. He said, yeah, you were wrong. And I said, why? He said, you said Belshazzar is the son of Nebuchadnezzar. He's not the son of Nebuchadnezzar. He's a grandson. So he wanted to prove to the people that he knows better, but he couldn't even do it in the field. He couldn't even present one study in the field. And you have to come so that he can show to say, this doesn't know anything. So if you're going to be offended by what the Bible is saying, yeah, so the problem is with you, isn't it? You know that when you read Daniel and Revelation by Uriah Smith, you'll understand clear that Belshazzar was the grandchild, isn't it? But on the part that we are presenting, that doesn't change anything altogether. So Belshazzar, the son of Nebuchadnezzar, or you can say the grandson, there's nothing wrong with that. So don't be offended. What I want you to know is that Belshazzar was a king and came after who? Nebuchadnezzar on the part of ruling. But we have to understand again who was Belshazzar altogether. Let's check who was Belshazzar. When you read Daniel chapter 7, verse 1, we get to know who Belshazzar was. It says that in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon. So who is Belshazzar? King of Babylon. And by this time we know that Nebuchadnezzar was no longer a king. But the kingdom is still the same. Which is the kingdom of? So in chapter 1, which kingdom is there? Chapter 2, which kingdom is there? Then chapter 5, which kingdom is there? Babylon. But the only thing that changes is the king. But the kingdom is the same, represented by the head of gold. Altogether. The thing is here now it changed, and the king is who? It's Belshazzar. It's clear, right? Okay. Then now when you come to this one, because we have to identify the second kingdom, and we have to see it 100% linking and taking the kingdom from the first one. So in chapter 5, that's where we are. And after, you know the story when Daniel was brought after the writings was on the wall and no one could explain it, then Daniel had to be called again, you remember, to come and explain what was on the wall, isn't it? But now Daniel chapter 5 verse 25 says, and this is the writing that was written, mene tekel upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing, mene, which means God has numbered thy kingdom. Who? Whose kingdom? Belshazzar. Which kingdom? Babylon. Okay. So God has numbered the kingdom and finished it. Then Tekel, thou art weighed in the balance and art found wanting. Then Peres, thy kingdom is divided and given to who? Medes and Persians. So Daniel chapter 5 verse 27 and 28 put it clearly that the kingdom of Belshazzar, which is the kingdom of Babylon, is taken and is given to who? To the Medes and Persians. So now you have to reflect to chapter 2 and say, oh, it means after head of gold, the second kingdom of arms and chest is which kingdom? Medes and Persians. It's clear that doesn't need any explanation than that, isn't it? Yes, except unless if you can just go to the Spirit of Prophecy, where you know only one quotation, one paragraph, you are done, you have everything. Let's continue. Now, this is the second kingdom. So, I want us to get a transition to the third kingdom altogether. The second kingdom is the kingdom of who? Medes and Persians. Daniel chapter 8 verse 20, it says that this is the vision that Daniel saw in chapter 8 now. We are in chapter 8. Ne? So he saw this vision of a ram and a he-goat altogether. So now the interpretation of a ram is coming. It says that the ram which thou sawest, having two horns, are the kings of what? Media and Persia. So if the ram is the kingdom of Media and Persia, and you have to go to chapter 2. What does the ram represented by in chapter 2? By the arms of silver and the chest of silver. Altogether, arms and chest of silver. It means this arm and chest is still represented by the ram in chapter 8. Then in chapter 7, you'll see that is the bear, isn't it? Okay. Now when we are in chapter 8, the ram is the kingdom of the Medes and Persia. Are we together? Okay. Palestine? If the ram is the kingdom of the Medes and the Persia, which kingdom should come after and represented by what? Represented by what? In chapter 8. In chapter 8 of Daniel, Greece is represented by what? Isn't that what you're talking? I thought you were discussing this. So it's represented by what? No, chapter 8 of Daniel. On chapter 7? Okay, so listen. Come and sit this side. Sit next to Prophet. You can just move behind the camera, then get away and sit next to Prophet there. Okay, let's continue. So, now we want to identify the third kingdom of Daniel chapter 2 on the stage 2. Now we are clear with the first one, that is Babylon. We cannot doubt that, isn't it? And we cannot doubt the second one, that is what? Is the Medes and Persians. We cannot doubt the second one, that is the Medes and Persians. So we want to identify now the third kingdom. We want to identify the third kingdom. And the second kingdom in chapter 2 is represented by what? By a ram. Okay, let's read this one. Daniel chapter 8 verse 21 and verse 22 says that, and the rough goat, listen, if you read chapter 8, you are going to realize that there's a ram and the he-goat, or the rough goat. So now we are told that, and the rough goat is the king of what? Grecia. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. No? But what I want us to look at for now is the identifying of the third kingdom. So after Ram, which is the Medes and Persia, we are told that the next kingdom is represented by what? By he-goat. And is the which kingdom? The kingdom of Grecia, or the kingdom of Greece altogether. So now when you go to the statue now, you are able to see, to say, what is it that is represented by? By, in chapter 2 of the statue, by belly and the thighs of bronze, which means that's the kingdom of Greece altogether. So you can see that now for you to get this, you see that you will need chapter 7 at one point of Daniel. You also need even chapter 8, so that you can understand, because it's the method of repeat and enlarge altogether. Okay. Now, with that in mind, we are just going to identify the fourth kingdom now, because we understand in Daniel chapter 2, okay, let me do this recap. Okay. As far as in Daniel chapter 2 of a statue, what does the head of gold represent? The head of gold, what does it represent? When you're thinking on that, Asanda, what is it that the statue of Daniel chapter 2 is talking about? The statue of Daniel chapter 2, what is it that is talking about? If you forgot, just remember the answer of Jamud, because he's the one who answered that. I can't hear you. Yes, the whole statue of Daniel chapter 2. What is it representing? You said it's representing what? Yes, the dream, the statue of the dream. What is it that is representing? The meaning of that statue is talking about what? Huh? Okay. Do you have idea? The whole statue of Daniel chapter 2. You know the statue, right? That one there. What is it that is representing? The whole statue. Huh? No, the whole statue is not representing Babylon. It's just only the head out of the whole statue which is representing Babylon. But the whole statue, what is it that is representing? Now I want the whole statue. Kingdoms? Okay, Asanda? Which kingdom? The earthly kingdom, right? Okay. So that's what it's representing. It's representing the earthly kingdoms. Now I'm coming to Spokas. Spokas, what is it that the head only on the statue? What is it that the head is representing? Only the head. Come on. What is it that the head is representing on the statue of Daniel chapter 2? Only the head. What is it that is representing? No, the head of Daniel chapter 2. You remember the head of gold? Yeah. Yes, that head. What is it that is representing? That one there on the station. What is it that is representing? Babylon. Okay. And now the chest and the arm of silver, What is it that is representing?
The chest and arms of silver. What is it that is representing?
The second kingdom.
Which is
Mesopotamia.
the Medes and the Persians, okay, Medo-Persia, or the kingdom of the Medes and Persians. Okay, the third element, the belly and the thighs of bronze. What is it that is representing? Gundo? Huh? Greece, ne? Okay. So that's what we are talking about. So don't forget, ne? We should not forget it, because if we are forgetting these first three, how will we remember the fourth one? It will be a challenge, isn't it? Now let's look on the fourth one. The fourth kingdom on the statue is represented by what? The fourth kingdom on the statue is represented by what? The fourth kingdom on the statue is represented by what? The fourth kingdom is represented by iron. Is where? The feet of the legs of iron, isn't it? Okay, so that's what is represented by. So I want us to identify the fourth kingdom, ne? And here you should go with me well, because we are going to have a lot of information. Ne? Daniel chapter 2 verse 40, it says that, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as what? Iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all this, shall it break in pieces and bruise altogether. So this kingdom is likened to what? Iron. Altogether. Okay. Then Daniel chapter 7, where we see the fourth kingdom of chapter 7. The fourth kingdom of chapter 7. Chilwell, you're talking. You're going to say you're not feeling comfortable to talk. The fourth kingdom of chapter 7. Tell us, how does it look like, the fourth kingdom of chapter 7? How does it look like? When you are reading it from the Bible. The fourth kingdom of chapter 7, you won't even see it is there, but it's not easier to see. The fourth kingdom of chapter 7, how does it look like? Of chapter 7 of Daniel, because here we are on chapter 7. How does it look like? I want the characteristics of each. Characteristics of the fourth kingdom. Ria, how does it look like? Okay, but what are the characteristics? Raise the voice. Raise the voice again.
Dreadful and terrible.
Okay, continue. The other characteristic?
And strong exceeding.
okay.
The other one?
And it is undescribable. Dreadful. Terrible.
What are the things that is
Heaving, that's what I want. What is it that Daniel saw on the beast? What is it that the beast is having?
okay? Yeah, it's fine.
Great iron teeth. I want the second one, Puru.
The second thing that we see on the beast, the fourth beast of Daniel chapter 7. Okay, let me read it. You are feeling things which are on the screen.
I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast. This is Daniel chapter 7, eh? And we know that the first was like unto a lion, isn't it? With wings, isn't it? And it was standing on the foot like a man. Are we together? Then the second one was like what? A bear, and it was having 3 ribs, and the other side was higher than the other, eh? And it was told to rise and devour much flesh. The third one was like unto what? A leopard with wings, 4 wings and what? And 4 heads, isn't it? Which we know those 3, lion represent Babylon, bear represent Medo-Persia, and leopard represent Greece. Ne? Now we are on the fourth one. This is the one I want us to look at. And after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, And it had a great what? Iron teeth, number one. It devoureth and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had how many horns? 10. So this beast was having how many horns? 10 horns. Then it says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked out by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of what? Of men, and a mouth speaking what? Great things. So these are the characteristics that we see from the fourth beast. And the only thing, if you do the observation of chapter 2 and this beast in chapter 7, we are going to see that in chapter 2, this kingdom is represented by what? By the feet of, in that part you see that the teeth are the teeth of iron. Is the one and the same thing. The same characteristics of the kingdom. Sorry. So this now is what we are going to look at. So question, Astan Rashida. How does the fourth beast look like of Daniel chapter 7? I do not want to put picture of the fourth beast clearly so that you don't learn. Isn't that the devil is deceiving us that we are visual learners so that we turn away from the Bible? We don't want to read nowadays. We just want to see everything and say we learn by seeing, isn't it? Because that's a lesson from the devil. So that's why I do not want to put the beast clearly, because I know you're going to look at the beast and lazy to read what is there. Because we are deceived, isn't it? Yeah. Rashid, we just read the verse. How does the fourth beast look like? It's terrible. Okay, the other one. Okay, the other one. Not fit. Iron teeth. Okay. It has 10 horns. Okay. Okay. Anyone wants to add? What's the other thing? What happens to the 10 horns? Another one came out, right? And what is it that it did when it came out? Huh? It uprooted the other ones, right? Okay. And he put specific focus on that little one that came out. Remember, we're identifying what? The fourth kingdom. The 3 is easy and simple to get them. You saw that? Just Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece. Then it says, Daniel chapter 7, verse 23 and verse 25 to 25 says, this is the interpretation now. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth what? Kingdom. So without a doubt, in Daniel chapter 2, we are told that after thee, the head of gold, after you, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, another kingdom shall rise, which made you clear that, chapter 2 is talking about the kingdoms. Now the same principle comes and say, the fourth kingdom is represented by the fourth beast. And again, when you read before this one, you're going to realize that, I think it's verse 17, it's going to show you that these 4 beasts are 4 kingdoms of kings. So you see, it's the same thing that chapter 2, chapter 7, chapter 8, on those visions is focusing on the earthly kingdom altogether. Okay, because it says it shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. Then verse 24 says, and the 10 horns out of these kingdoms are 10 what? Kings. So here we don't come with our own private interpretation. We allow the Bible to interpret itself. So that's why I'm not even asking you what are these horns, because you tell me things. So the Bible put it clear that these 10 horns are 10 kings. And shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be what? Diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. So the other one which is arising, which is the little horn, we are told that is another what? King. Altogether, it's another king. And it will come and it will remove other 3 kings altogether. Verse 25 says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High. Who? Which horn? The little horn, right? Is going to speak great things against the Most High. He shall wear out the saints of the Most High. In this way out the saints, it's like he will persecute them altogether. Okay. And think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until what? A time and times and the dividing of time. It's like a year and 2 years and a half a year, which is going to be what? 3.5 years. So the saints shall be delivered to this king so that he can persecute them. For how long? For 3.5 years. We will talk about it in soon. Then in Daniel chapter 11, commenting on the same kingdom that we are talking about under the fourth kingdom, we are told this, that then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes again. Then it says the Lord of the kingdom, but within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. And we realize that the fourth kingdom, for it to get the kingdom, the dominion, all these kingdoms, they were fighting other kingdoms in order to get dominion. But this one, we are told that it's not going to be destroyed or to be defeated in what? In battle. And this now, when you go to the book of Luke, now, like we are transitioning now. When you go to the book of Luke chapter 2 verse 1 to verse 3, this is what we get. And it came to pass in those days that there went out what? A decree from who? Caesar Augustus, that all the world should be what? Taxed. And this taxing was first made when what? Cyrenius was governor of what? Syria, and all went to be taxed, everyone into his own seat. So if you check the history, will tell you that the first time people were asked to be taxed, it was during this kingdom. And this was the same time when who was born? Jesus. And we know that Jesus was born during which kingdom? The kingdom of Rome. So you can tell now to say, oh, it means this fourth kingdom, it has to be the kingdom of Rome, because it's happening here in the book of Luke chapter 2, and it was around the time when Christ was born. And this is the same one we're told in Daniel chapter 11, that is the one that is going to raise what? The tax. Okay, let's go back to Daniel chapter 11 and see something. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against what? The God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is what determined shall be what? Shall be done. So here we are told that he's also going to do what? To exalt himself even above who? Above and against God. I was saying that. And the same thing that we are learning here is the same thing that Paul talks about in the book of Thessalonians, isn't it? When you go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 and 4, let's read this one, then we'll talk. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, the second coming, except there come a falling away first, which is apostasy, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is what? He is God. So he's talking about the same man of sin here. But when you look at this is what the thing that I did not put here. I will just explain it. You'll go and study it so that you understand it. When you look at the kingdom of Rome, it's divided into two. We're together, right? We have the first one is the what? The pagan Rome. Then the second one is the papal Rome. But now when you talk about the Rome as old as the beast, the fourth beast, we're talking about the pagan Rome. But when you talk about the little one that came up, that now is what? Is the papal Rome. And all this, like the book of Thessalonians, is now focusing on the papal Rome. Because according to Daniel chapter 7 verse 25, that's where you get the characteristics of the papal Rome. To say is the one who's going to do what? To exalt himself against God by speaking blasphemous words or the great words. He's the one who's going to persecute the people of God. He's the one who's also going to think to change what? Time and laws. Are we together? And they shall be given to him for how long? 3.5 years. Are we together? So now what we're going to do here, we're just going to identify the characteristics now of which this fourth kingdom, specifically focusing on the little horn, because it's the one that have to help us to understand fully who the beast is altogether. Because the same beast that we are identifying in Revelation 14, we are going to see that it's the same little horn that you find. This you can write it down because it's having this parallelism. The same little horn that we get in Daniel chapter 7 is the same beast that we are going to find in Revelation chapter 14 and verses 9. Now together. We are not together. I'm going to ask you this. The first little horn that you are finding in Daniel chapter 7, you have to study it in line with Revelation chapter 14 verse 9. You have to study it in line with Revelation chapter 13 verse 1 to 10. Altogether. Then you add with the second, with the last part of Revelation 13 from 11 to 18 altogether. You have to study it again in line with what? With Revelation 17. The little horn of Daniel. When you study it, these are parts that you should touch. There's no way you can study it and you don't touch Revelation chapter 14 verse 9. There's no way you can study it fully and you don't touch Revelation chapter 13, the whole chapter, so to say. At one, you have to study the whole chapter of Revelation 13. There's no way you can study it and you don't go and study Revelation 17 altogether. And at the same time, it means you have to go and study Revelation 18, more especially from verse 1 down to verse 8 then. You'll have to know about all those verses. So we are not going to read all those chapters and the verses. But what is the information that I'll be taking, you are going to see that is coming from all those verses. If you gather all those information, you will see clearly who this beast is, because it's just repeat and enlarge method in all those chapters altogether. Because the little horn that we are talking about in Daniel is the first beast of Revelation 13 altogether. When you go to chapter 17, the woman who's sitting on the beast is the same thing, Babylon altogether. And in chapter 18, it's just coming as after chapter 17, telling you that is fallen. We go together, and know that primarily it's Roman Catholic, then the children, which now we will be talking about when in the study of the fall of Babylon. So I don't want you to be confused. I believe Paddy is already confused now. What are you saying, Paddy?
Okay.
When God gave Belshazzar the message that his kingdom is numbered, that meaning that it's gonna be destroyed. I want to ask, is it a coincidence that the words many are repeated twice with relation to Revelation?
The words many.
No, I don't know about that. I haven't studied on that light. I don't know. Okay, unless if someone has a light, then they can help you. I don't know. Okay, so there's no one who wants to say. It means we'll just go and study it and check it. Now, what I want us to do with all those chapters that I said you need to have them in mind, then they are going to help us now to get fully who this beast is. We are together by getting now the characteristics. Already, we are not studying so that we can get. Actually, yes, we are not studying to find out that who is this beast. Actually, we are just studying to be established that indeed this beast is the purpose. Altogether. We are not studying to find out. We are studying to be established that indeed this beast is what? The paper. Are we together? Yes. So we are not finding anything out. That's why I'm even showing you to say this is the first, this is the, more especially the little one, is the Roman papers. So now let's get these characteristics. Okay, let me tell you how many there are. You'll see them when we are done. Because this is the characteristics. After the characteristics we are done, I'm not going to tell you how many there are. The first one, it says that these beasts assert power over all the inhabitants of earth. Like they each claim what? Power over everyone altogether. And that's now we are going to find it in Revelation chapter 13, verse 7, which says that, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given to him over all what? Kindred and tongue and people. So it's like this beast or this papacy, the way it is the one that is controlling what? The whole world altogether. So and now you just have to look at it and say, oh, okay, now I understand. Oh, okay, we are not going to discover something new here altogether. So what you can do for yourself is to look at the Bible and maybe look at what is happening if it's true. But according to the Bible, which is true and is going to stand forever, is that the papacy is the one which is in control of the whole world. If you say we are going to school and everything, we should know that he's the one who is controlling everything. Even the banks and the money of the world and everything. The papacy is the one who is controlling it, and the Bible has said it. Altogether. So it's not something that we should go behind it. He's the one controlling it, except the remnant. He is not having power to control the system of the remnant. But we are told that among them, there are others who will be controlled by him, though. Let's look at this one. This is not the Bible, no spirit of prophecy. Now this is just their commandment. We define that the Holy Apostolic See and the Roman Pontiff Pope hold the primary over what? The whole world. So this is what they are saying. The primacy, sorry. They hold the primacy over the whole world. So they are saying it themselves now to say, we are the one, we know that the Pope is the one that what? Holds the primacy over the whole world. And there is the reference. So this one is not the thing that we have to go about it. The Bible said it, they come with one, they said the same thing. They say we hold the power over the whole world. They were together. Okay. Let's continue. The other thing here says on the same thing, there is no higher authority. Then says Pope Gregory reigned, then it shows there, presented himself as what? Heir to the what? Unlimited commission over all souls. So they are showing that he's the one, the Pope Gregory here, who is having the power over all souls. So there is no one who can have power over him. And this shows things are just going to make you to be established. You say, oh, the Bible has said it, and this thing is true. We're not proving the Bible true or wrong here. We just have to see what the Bible is saying. The other thing that is that he's going to arise within a what? A densely populated area with what? Cultural diversities. Revelation chapter 17 verse 15 says, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, there where the horse sitteth, this is chapter 17 now, are what? People, multitude, nations, and tongues. So this kingdom or this papacy, when it arose, it came from a place where it was what? Having people already, isn't it? And it was established where there were already people. So this is what we see clearly. It did not arise where there was no other person. When you continue to say that here, it's not a quotation, this one now is the thing that we can look for. So it says that the Roman Catholic Church state rose to power from within the 10 original tribes, which are the 10 horns, you remember? Of then it says the division of what of the Europe, then they are mentioned there as you know them. Then it says that the third one completely eradicated 3 other kingdoms were rising to what? To power. So we are told in chapter 7 of Daniel that what is it that the little horn did to 3 kings horns? It uprooted them, isn't it? And when you look at history, it's only this same Roman Catholic papacy which managed to uprooted what? 3 what? Horns or 3 kings, isn't it? The what? The Vandals, the Heruli, and what? Ostrogoths. So this is something that you just have to see it to say it was already there, isn't it? Okay. Let's this one we're not going to read, but it's just showing how it was eradicating all those, and that is the source there down there to show that how were those 3 horns uprooted and when. So that's the same thing. So here I'm going to pass. Even this one is just saying the same thing, so I'm not going to read this one. We're going to the fourth point, which talks about him making a war with what? With the saints. It's only the papacy which managed to make war with the saints, and you're going to see even the time period that is exactly as the Bible had said it. Isn't that we just want to be sure that we're not doing false accusation? To say this beast is who? Is the papacy, isn't it? Revelation chapter 17 verse 6. And I saw the woman drunk with what? The blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. In chapter 7 of Daniel, you're told that she's going to wear out what? The saints, isn't it? So here you can see she's drinking the blood of the saints, which is the same thing to say she's the one making what? The persecution altogether. Then we are told that the Church of Rome has shed more innocent blood than any other institution that had ever existed among mankind will be questioned by no Protestant who has a complete knowledge of what? Of history. So such thing, if you have a knowledge of history, you will never ask such question. It's clear. The Church of Rome is the one that shed more innocent blood during the time of what? Dark ages, isn't it? Then when it continues, where you'll find this. So it says that it is impossible to form a complete conception of the multitude of her victims, and it is quite certain that no power of imagination can adequately realize their what? Their sufferings, isn't it? So here is this same Roman papacy, which we see that it made war against the what? The saints, né? And we'll see when we continue that it's going to be the part of the same 3.5 years. The fifth characteristic here is that it's so interesting that the same Roman papacy, we only look at their city. It's not just a city, or the church is not just a church, but it's both what? Church and the seat. And Revelation chapter 17 verse 18 tells you that. You see, everything is coming from all these verses. Some are just repeating from Daniel, and the same thing comes to Revelation. It says that, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings and of the what? Of the earth. And we know woman in prophecy represent what? A church. So this church that thou sawest is also what? The great city. So you see that Vatican is not just a church, it's not just a city, but it's both. When you look at the Bible prophecy, that's why you find that the Pope is controlling both the secular part of the Vatican and also the state part, the church part, isn't it? Then now let's look at this to confirm that also. The Roman Catholic Church and the Roman Vatican City State are what? Synonymous. So it's one and the same thing. You see that? It's one and the same thing. Then it says that the Lateran Treaty, then it's called there, gave Vatican City independent status and recognized the Pope's sovereignty within what? Within the state, isn't it? So the Pope is the one with power there, controlling both the church and the state. The agreement included a political treaty which created the state of Vatican City and guaranteed to the Holy See full and what? Independent sovereignty. So we are seeing that it's not just a state or it's not just a church, but it's both. Then the sixth one is that when this beast, this is now in Revelation chapter 17. You remember the mountain, the seven heads, which says that because she's sitting on 7 mountains, it says that and here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is what? Is seated. So these are just things that so it's necessary that we should know them so that we don't accuse people falsely. Because when you read Revelation 8:17, you are told that the woman is sitting on what? On this beast, which is having 7 heads, isn't it? And we're told that the 7 heads are 7 what? Mountains. And when you look at the city of Rome, you're going to see that it's also sitting upon 7 hills, and those are their names, the Palatine and all those things until the last one. To show it's clear, it's like that as God had said it long ago. And this is also commenting on the same thing, the historical site of Rome on the former 7 hills then was occupied as early as the what? Bronze Age. So it's just saying the same thing. Then the first one, it says it's arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and what? Precious stone. And this is the attire of the Roman Catholic, isn't it? Is it true? Revelation chapter 17 verse 4. Is it true? Let's look at it. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet. I'm going to ask you questions since that we are slumbering now. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and darkened with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a what? A golden cup in the hand full of abomination and filthiness of a what? Fornication. The question is coming. Then he says that the color, listen to this now, the color for bishops and other prelates is what? Purple. For what? For cardinals, scarlet. The pectoral cross should be made of what? Of gold and decorated with what? With gems. So you can see that what they are saying is just in line exactly with what the Bible is saying. Now, I'm going to ask. If this is not coincidence, buddy, what I'm about to ask. Whom am I supposed to ask now? Hey, there are people here that I'm okay. Then, was it coincident for Rome, the Roman Catholic, to choose these colors? Was it coincident to say we want to use purple? Did they just take it out of the blue, or there's somewhere where they go and check and get them? We just want to take purple, we want scarlet, we want gold, and like with them maybe with fine linen, if we can add, because yeah. Was that just a coincidence for them to have such colors? We are told in prophecy that they are going to use these colors exactly, and they came and chose them the same colors. Where did they get them? Those colors. When they choose them, where did they get them? Silver. Not silver. Shilabeko. Where did they get them? Those colors. Purple, the precious stones like gold, and the pearl, and the scarlet. Where did they get them? From where? They took it from Revelation 17. No, they did not take it from Revelation 17. They did not take it from Revelation 17. Revelation 17 said it, but they did not take it from that. Come on. They took it from which instant? Their attire. From what? From the sanctuary, né? Because we know that the beast has to go and destroy the what? The sanctuary, isn't it? By counterfeiting it from the gate until the most holy place and replace Christ and put himself everywhere. And he has to do it in his own way. So they took these colors and attires from where? From the sanctuary, né? And let's go open this verse, Exodus chapter 28. Let's look at it. Because they did not just take it out of the blue way. They read the sanctuary, which Adventists are rejecting today. But the purpose had to read it and get to know how to deceive us. Exodus chapter 28, from verse 1 to verse 6. Number, please read it for us.
And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar, and Aaron's sons. And thou shalt make holy garments.
Okay, you can wait there. Yesterday I asked some people who is Nadab and Abihu, right? Nadab and Abihu. Then I asked who is Aaron, right? Who did I ask? Can you raise your hand? Faithfully, so I can't remember the person I asked. When I was asking who is Aaron.
Raise your hands. Those I asked who is Aaron. Now you are seeing who Aaron is, ne? Okay, so read the verse with us so that you can understand. Start from verse 1 so that you understand who is Aaron now.
And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that they minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar, and Aaron's sons. And thou shalt make a holy garment for Aaron thy brother for glory and for beauty. And thou shalt speak unto all that are wise,
Hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate and an ephod, and a robe and a broidered coat, and mitre and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Okay, now read verse 5 and verse 6.
And they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen, And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, of scarlet, and fine twined linen, with cunning work.
Okay. So now I believe we are seeing where they get these names. Verse 5 put it clear that they shall take what? Gold. Do Catholic wear gold? Okay. Blue. Do they wear blue? Purple. Do they wear purple? Scarlet. Do they wear scarlet? Fine linen. Do they wear fine linen? You know what is fine linen? Which color is fine linen? White. Do they wear white? They don't wear white. So you don't even know who are the Pope then. So do you even know who the Pope is? Does the Pope wear white? I think that's the common dress he always put, right? Showing us that he's righteous. Fella, you should not just look at it. We look at those things and we don't understand what they mean. We'll miss some great lessons, isn't it? Because when the Pope put on white, especially if the president, which is the secular world, is coming to see the Pope, which is from the religious side, when they are meeting, it's always the case. The Pope will be in what? In white, and the president and his wife, if he's coming with her, he should be always put on what? Black. Do you know the meaning of that? It's to say the Pope is righteous, you are evil. And when you come here, it's like the mingling of balancing good and evil. So that robe, he knows meaning. So it means I'm righteous, I'm holy. Whenever you are coming to me, you are wicked. Then when you come, we are balancing good and evil. That's the meaning of what they wear those things. Né? So if we don't know and we are studying the sanctuary, what does this fine linen represent in sanctuary? The white. Righteousness. But I see they're taking from the same principle that God gave us. But they don't have what? Blue. And why? I'm going to ask you now. Until I believe you don't have to talk about blue, you can talk. No, Until I said I believe you don't want to talk about blue. Then I said you can talk. Then the thing you were supposed to say, okay, I want to talk about blue, then you don't talk. Okay, it's fine. Let's see. What does the blue represent here? Why are they not having blue, these guys? We can see that they go and copy exactly what God said. But then why are they not having blue? Why are they don't have it, you see that? They embrace all those colors and they don't have it. All together. And that's the same reason why other people go to their church and make clothes, they put white and blue because they read this and they know the meaning of blue. Then they go and put it in their clothes and they put it on when they go to church. But God did not tell us to do so. Because they read these same verses that we're supposed to be knowing their principles. But it's just said that the same Israelites who should understand these things are the ones who are not taking anything. You know people who put on blue and white, right? You think they're just putting on that blue? They read those things from the Bible. And I was even shocked when I was doing door-to-door last time at Ramanja. I met this woman. She just told us, hey, now we wear clothes and we wear blue, and this is the reason she opened the dress. And now you have to teach to that woman to show her that it's no longer necessary to wear such things. And now you don't even know why she's wearing it. And she's the one teaching you. Why do we put on blue? Paul, do you know that? You know about it? Okay, where do we find this blue? And why is there no blue on the thing of the priest? Let's open Numbers 15 and see. Because we have to understand about the purpose so that we are not doing false accusation altogether. We should be sure and everything should come to place. Already I know it's on place. We just have to be in place even in our minds altogether. Yes. Why is the purpose not putting on blue? Charity, we will read it for us. Numbers 15. You start from verse 37 until verse 40. Numbers 15, 37 to verse 40. Charity, please read it for us. Numbers 15, verse 37 to verse 40. This is talking about blue now. You have to understand why God gave us blue. And how come the papers is not having blue?
The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, throughout the generations to come, you are to make tassels on the corners of your garments, with a blue cord on each tassel. You will have these tassels to look at, and so you will remember all the commands of the Lord, that you may obey them and not prostitute yourselves by going after the lust of your own heart and eyes. Then you will remember to obey all my commandments, and will be consecrated to your God."
You read until verse 40? Okay.
You see the reason for blue there? God told Moses that he should tell the children of Israel that when they make their garment, down on the fringes, they should put what? On the borders, they should put the fringes of blue. Why? So that one, they have to remember what? The commandments of God. But not only to remember, they also have to do what? To keep the commandments of God. So God gave the children of Israel blue and he gave them the meaning to say this is a symbol of loyalty between me and you. So that when you look at it, you always remember the commandments of God, and not just to remember and to know about them, because there's no blessing in knowing. We know that, right? Blessed are those who hear and do, and those who keep. So you also have to do what? To keep the commandments. So the blue was like a constant reminder. So it will be a rebuke to the papacy who thought to change times and laws to come now and have blue in their clothing. You remember? Because it will be showing them and rebuking them every time to say, keep the law. Keep the law. And they don't want to keep the law. So the best way is to remove. The same way they remove the blue from the clothes and the colors of the high priest is the same way they go and do it with the Ten Commandments. Because they remove the second one completely, change the fourth one, divide the 10th one. That's what they did. Because they don't want to keep the law of God. You understand? Ne? That's the same reason why they don't have it. Ne? So this is their dressing, and the Bible put it clear. Now, the characteristics number 8. We know they have a single man who speaks for the whole church, right? Or for the whole city. Who is the man? The Pope. The man of sin, isn't it? The son of perdition, right? The one who need to be revealed. By who? Who should reveal the man of sin? Us, isn't it? And this is the little one that we are being told about. That is the one that is doing the speaking and having the blaspheming against God, isn't it? Okay, I'm not going to read. We read it, this one already, Daniel chapter 7, verse 8. We read it in the interpretation, so you just have to write it down. Then let's look at what they say. The Pope is the only spokesman for the entire Roman Church. They just put it clear like that. Doesn't need interpretation. Clear and straightforward. The Pope is the only spokesman for the entire Roman Church. Now, point number 9. And he's not just the only man, but he exalted himself above God. It's not just the mere man. We read this one, Thessalonians. Remember, let no man deceive you. When you talk about that the Christ will not come, except they'll come what? The falling away, and the man of sin, the son of perdition, need to do what? To be revealed, and he opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship. So we know that we wage war against God, isn't it? Against heaven, in the way that we will think they are believing in Christ, isn't it? But they don't. Then we say that we hold upon this earth the place of God Almighty. You see how they are. We put it clearly away. We hold the place of God Almighty. We take the place of God here on earth. We are above Him. That's the Bible put it. Number 10. This is the kingdom that is also identified with what? With the number 666. You see, it's not for Mandela. When now you understand, it means when you talk about 666, you have to identify it with who? With the papers, not just to say Illuminati as we have been deceived, isn't it? But this is going to the papers, that is number. Here is wisdom, Revelation 13, verse 18. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his name is what? 666. 100, 3 score, and 6. So it's easy. Then let's look at this one. Then on the number, the Pope's triple crown. Do you know the triple crown of the Pope? Okay, I thought you don't know. The Pope's triple crown holds the what? Inscription, what? Vicarius Filii Dei, which is in Latin for what? Vicar or substitute of the what? The Son of God. So on their triple crown is like a crown which is like it's having 3 stairs, like in the big man. It's like a donkey with a lot of gold. He doesn't just weigh it. Then it's written Vicarius Filii Dei. So when you substitute that name, that's when now you get the number 666. And when you're using the right principles, because the name is in Latin, means you have to substitute using it a lot Roman figures, isn't it? And that's why you have to get it clearly. So that's how the number 666 comes. It's not from Ellen White. Did you see that? It's from the Pope, you see? So people will just come and choose things and send you to Mandela. No, the devil is driving your mind away from the real matter. It's for the men of two in the papers. There's nothing to do with all those things. Then point number 11, he speak blasphemous words, he speak great words against the Most High. Revelation 13 verse 5, even in Daniel you saw it, we read it. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 months, which is 3.5 years. And we know the scripture, it talks about blaspheming as to one who claims to be what? To be God on earth. We know principles when Christ says in John chapter 10 verse 30, I and my Father are one. Then when it comes to 32, then they wanted to stone, the Jews took stones and they wanted to stone him, remember? Then he asked and say, for the good works, from all the good works which I have done, of which one out of all you want to stone me for? And then verse 33, they have to answer this. And the Jews answered him, saying, for a good works we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, and because thou art that thou being what? A man, you are making yourself who? God. So they realized and they knew the principles, though they were applying it to a wrong person. The principle was right, but because they lost their present truth of Christ being the Messiah, they were applying it to the wrong person. The principle was to say any man who claims to be God on earth is blaspheming against God. And they were not blaspheming, but they would not know that he was not. So the Pope is the man who says he's what? God on earth. The Pope is not only the representative of Jesus Christ, but he is Jesus Christ hidden under a veil of flesh. It is clear, that's what they say. It's not just a representation, as you will interpret the vicar, there is a substitute, but now he's himself hidden in the veil of flesh. See that, ne? They say, then we hold upon this as the place of who? God Almighty. Just repeating this. So that's what they're saying. It's clear. You cannot argue with them. So how can you deny that they qualify, whereas you can see everything is coming to them? You come and say, no, the Pope is not the beast. He is the beast. The Pope is of so great dignity and so exalted that he is not a mere man, but as it were God and what? The vicar of God. He is not just a mere man. That's why people call him what? Holy Father, and they worship him, isn't it? It's not just a mere man. And the second part, we claim to do what? To forgive sin. Here is Mark chapter 2, verse 7, when the man who was having palsy and his palsy, and the friends would realize that where Christ was, they couldn't enter. Then they open the roof so that they can drop men from above. Then he says, when Christ saw the faith of their friends, he looked at the one who was sick. He says, thy faith what? They don't look at their faith. He says, son, thy sins are forgiven thee. You remember? Then now, when these people come and say, hey, why does this man that speak blasphemy? Who can forgive sin but God only? Again, they understood the principle, but they are applying it to a wrong person. Christ was God and he was having that power to forgive sin. So the principle here is that anyone who is on earth and claims to forgive sin is doing what? is blaspheming against God, and that's what the papacy is doing. This judicial authority will even include the power to do what? To forgive sin, referring to the power of the papacy. So, where they are saying it clear, they are blaspheming God. You see that? So, all these things, they just fit on them. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25, on the part of him trying to change what? Times and what? And laws of God. We read this one. Let's look at it. The Pope is of so great authority and power that he can what? Modify, explain, or interpret even what? The divine law. He can modify them. If you just wake up today and say, "Hey, I think the third commandment is not fine when it talks about using the name of God in vain," they're saying he's giving power to just go and change it. If you guys think the Sabbath is Saturday, he gave power to interpret it and make it to be what? Sunday. And that's what he's doing. If you think that is not enough to have the second law because it's against the worship of Mary, he's having power to remove it. Yeah, that's what they're saying. He's having power. He can even modify the 10th commandment because it's too long, man. Then he come and divide it into two. He's having power. That's what they're saying. You see that? So they're saying he's having power. He can modify, he can explain, he can interpret, even what? The divine law. But you know that that's the papacy, and that's what we're told we will do against God. You see that? Eh? The Pope has power to change times. Oh, really? To abrogate laws and to do what? Dispense with all things, even the precept of what? Of Christ. And the precepts of Christ we know is referring to the laws, isn't it? The Pope has authority and has often exercised it to dispense with what? With the command of Christ. You see, they even say he's having power to do what? To change times. That's why today we believe that the week starts on Monday. It's because the Pope is claiming, he's thinking to change the time, isn't it? Simple. The Pope is saying the week starts on Monday today, isn't it? He gave us this calendar which is having different days, isn't it? But we just thank God that out of all those things, he did not even attempt to change the weekly cycle altogether. So no matter how the time is changed, to say the day starts at 12 midnight, the week starts on Monday, the calendar sometimes is having 28 days, sometimes 29, sometimes 30, sometimes 31. That doesn't affect the Sabbath of the weekly cycle. And we are still keeping it the way God wanted it. So you should not be deceived. You need to say, some people will say, so you see, everything is changed. It means what if you are keeping the Sabbath only to find out the day you are saying is Saturday, in reality is now Tuesday. That is not affected. So you should not be deceived by that. Ne? God will always protect his own truth. Amen? So we have to keep the Sabbath and we are keeping it the right way. Amen? But he tried to change the time. We see it. Ne? We see time has been changed. That's why we have April Fool. Do you even know where the April Fool is coming from? It's because the year was starting in April, then it comes and says the year starting in January. Those who are still holding on the true April as they trying to begin the year, they say these are fools, let's laugh at them. Then because of mockery, today they call it April Fool, but you don't know initially the year starting April. So these are just things that the papacy have just changed, but it was also fulfilling to what God has said. Ne? It was fulfilling. You know that initially in the Bible the month is having 30 days, right? You know that. But out of all those, I want to repeat this so that you know. The Sabbath is not affected at all. We are still keeping the right Sabbath of Saturday. So when someone comes and says, what if the one you're keeping is initially this Saturday is Thursday? No, that one was not affected at all. And it was proven without any, beyond any reasonable doubt, it's still the same Sabbath. Ne? That God wanted us to keep it. Okay, it says that Sunday is a Catholic institution and its claim to observe can be what? Defended only on what? Catholic principles. From beginning to end of scripture, there is not a single passage that warrants the transfer of weekly public worship from the last day of the week to the first. So these are their deeds, and you are told that the nice thing is that they say it themselves. Ne? We can go. They even say in this one book, I think it's called Faith of Our Fathers by Catholic Church. They said you can read from Genesis to what? Revelation. You will not even find a single word which allows you to worship on Sunday. Yeah, but they are saying it themselves. They're saying themselves. Then it says that, of course, the Catholic Church claims that the change of the Sabbath to Sunday was a what? Act. And the act is what? Is a mark of a ecclesiastical power. So that's what they're saying when they attempt to change these things. So the Sabbath Sunday, they're saying it clear that is an act of their ecclesiastical power. Now, for reference purpose, if you will want to do it in the field, I think we'll have to send it in the group. Né? So, yes, because I think I'm fast for those who want to write. Revelation 13, verse 5, and there was given unto him a mouth. This is the 13th point. We are only having 15. I'm left with 2. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. We know that this papacy ruled where it was doing all these horrible things during Dark Ages. It was 40 and 2 months, which is the time of Dark Ages altogether. Né? And we already did this, so I'm not going to interpret it, all of it. We already did this. Let me just read on all of it to show that this, the month is having 30 days according to the Bible, isn't it? And these chapters of the Genesis will prove it clearly that according to the Bible, every month is having 40 days. So when it's 42 months, you just have to say 42 times 30, then you get to say in a month you have, 42 is 1,260. Yes, we did this. That I'm not repeating them. We did this on the study of bottomless pit, beast from bottomless pit. Remember when we were explaining the same 42 months of Revelation chapter 11. So I'm not going to just repeat it. Né? It's the same principles, same verses. There's nothing that is changing here. So we're just showing that the same purpose was to rule and persecute the people of God for 1,260 years. Those who are not there, you can just refer to it, or maybe you can ask Walter to give you the link. Then, if it's uploaded, you will see it. Let's continue. Year 538 AD, the papacy, working through the civil government, broke the power of the Ostrogoths, leaving the Pope's claim of ecclesiastical supremacy unchallenged. The Roman Church could and would now exercise her full authority. This is from 538, when now they were done removing the Ostrogoths. We remember, né? Or they approved 3 kings, né? So that was the last one to approve, and now they were starting to exercise their power fully. I think Walter talked about it when he was presenting, showing that 30 years, which comes first from there, when these kingdoms were approved. I remember on the 1335 prophet, né? So you can just go and stay on that. This again is just saying about the same thing of the end of it of 1798. It says that in 1798, General Berthier of France made his entrance into Rome, abolished the papal government, and established a secular one. So this is where now we know that the Pope was taken where? To captivity, isn't it? Okay, and that's where he died. The 14th part is one that we're going to talk about. It says that the papacy was stripped of authority by the civil power, and was taken where? Into captivity. That's Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. It says that he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword. Then here is the patience of the patience and the faith of the saints. So this is the principle that God showed to say, if you lead others to captivity with a sword, the same sword that you are leading others with is the one that is going to come to you. And we know that the papacy did not use the sword that the church is supposed to use during Dark Ages, right? They did not use the sword, which is the word of God. They used the civil sword, which is the literal one, to persecute people. They did not kill people with the word of God, but they killed people with the real sword. And because of the principles, they were also supposed to be persecuted by the same sword. Are we together? And it says that the ultimate humiliation of the church came when Paul is what? Paul the Sixth was what? Driven out of Rome by the French army in 1798. In the following year was taken captivity by them and dragged back to what? To France, where he died. So this is where now we are seeing the church also, he was receiving what? The deadly wound. When this happened, he was receiving the deadly wound, which is going to be our last characteristic of the beast. To say he received the deadly wound. And what caused the deadly wound? It was the separation of what? Church and state. And we are told that when the deadly wound is fully healed, that's when now things will be horrible on earth, because the national Sunday law will be upon us, isn't it? And it means, what is it that should heal the deadly wound? Is when we see the church and the state coming together. Are they already started? So is the wound healing? So it's in the process of being healed. So we might not know how far it is, but when you look at the signs of the time, we can tell that it's almost to be healed fully. Because this is the last characteristic to say is the one that received the deadly wound. And you know that when Napoleon took the Pope to captivity, that's when now it received the wound. So for the wound to be healed, it means the issue have to be reversed. They have to come together, the church and state. And we are seeing it that the Pope is now even addressing the Congress in the United States, isn't it? Where America says, never, we will never unite the two. But God already said it that they are going to unite. And they are, and the wound is being healed. So these are the characteristics that we can tell beyond doubt to say, indeed, the Roman Catholic papacy is the beast of Revelation chapter 14 verse 9. And if it's the beast, the question is that then, if we know it's the beast, what is his mark and what is his image? Because in Revelation chapter 14 verse 9 we are told that if any man worship the beast and his what? Image. Let me just read it, that part, verse 9 only. It says that, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, then it comes and tell you what will happen thereafter. So now we know who the beast is, right? And now when you read Revelation chapter 16, verse 13 and 14, the threefold union, the dragon, which is the devil, you see the devil is working fully with the Roman Church, with the Pope. So why do you even agree that it's the Holy Father when he's working with the Pope, with the devil, clearly, and see without any doubt that is the one working with Satan? It's clear, isn't it? So he's the one working with Satan. And if he is the beast, now what we have to know is that according to Revelation 14 verse 9, he's having the mark, he's having the image. What are those? And that's what we need to find out in our next presentation. Amen. And may the good Lord bless you. And if you want to say something, you can talk.
I just want to ask a question. Whether the Pope is aware that he's what the devil was being designed.
The question is, he's aware. Okay. I don't know how to answer that, but what I can tell you is that as the Pope was the Jesuits, this is the clear thing that you know, that those guys, they study our writings more than us, so they know everything about us. So they know. They even make an oath sometimes to say, no, though I can see that all the writings of Ellen White are true, but I'm still going to be against them. They know. Oh, you mean for their sincerity? Ah, okay. No, they know. They are aware. They know that Seventh-day Adventist is the remnant church. There's this quotation, I didn't put it here. If those who are having that statue which says Rome is a beast, down there are quotations of Catholic. There's this quotation which says, if you're a true Protestant, they wrote it, you should be a Seventh-day Adventist. They know. And the Pope who wrote that. If you have that PDF which says Rome is a beast, there's that quotation. They put it clear to say, if you are saying you're a true Protestant, you should be at Seventh-day Adventist. How can they say that if they don't know what they're talking about? They know. They know that everyone who should be a true Christian is supposed to be an Adventist. Then Adventists are leaving the church and saying it's Babylon. Whereas the real Babylon is saying, hey, if you're a true Christian, you should be an Adventist. Okay. May the God Lord bless us in the reading of His word. Amen.